So, students, we have already discussed the marks weightage and paper pattern for the social subject. Now we are going to discuss the marks weightage and paper pattern of the subject of English. So, question paper will be of 80 marks, which is divided into certain sections that we are going to discuss. Now, let us first discuss the syllabus for English subject. Yes, on top social science is written, but that's okay. We should understand it as English. Okay. Syllabus for the subject of English it's having two books. First is the main book, and the second is the supplementary book. The main book we know it as First Flight, and the supplementary reader we know it as Footprints Without Feet. Now, please note down the syllabus. Yes, I hope students you are ready with your writing material, so that you need to write down a lot of things that we are going to discuss over here. Yes, most of the things you will find it in the slide. So, it's better that you note down all the things. Many of the things will be spoken verbally, so that also you need to note down separately, so that it becomes helpful when you are preparing for the 80 marks paper complete. Now, the first flight syllabus. Now, syllabus में जो include हुआ है वो यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है, right? So the chapter numbers that are written over here clearly defines the chapters which are included for the exams, and we will also discuss separately the chapters which are excluded, which are the 30% portion which has been cut by the Gujarat board because of the pandemic, right? We didn't go to school. Yeah, we didn't come to school actually, and so. Chapter number 1 to 7 in First Flight, that is included, and chapter number 9 to 11. So only one chapter is missing over here, which is deducted from First Flight. That is chapter number 8, that is Mijbil the Otter, right? So we have 11 chapters total in the First Flight, out of which only one chapter has been cut, that is chapter number 8. So please note down that chapter number 1 to 7 and chapter number 9 to 11 are included. So we have to prepare 10 chapters from First Flight. Yes. Then in poems, poem number 1 and 2, we will go as per the material, right? Not as per the textbook. Yes, because material has been provided to you for the first term and the second term, right? If you go into the textbook, then poem 1 and 2 makes part of the first unit. Yes, but in our material we have poem number 1 separate, poem number 2 separate. We will go according to the material and not according to the textbook, right? If you go according to textbook, right, then there are 10 poems only, but as per material we have 11 poems. We have separated poem number 1 and poem number 2 from unit 1, although both of them are written by the same poet then also. So according to the material, poem number 1, 2, 3 are included, 4 is excluded, that means cut. Again, poem number 5, 6, 7 are included. Poem number 5, 6 and 7 are included in the material. Poem number 8 and 9 are excluded, that means cut. Poem number 10 is included. Again, poem number 11 is excluded, that means cut. So we will discuss first about the poems that are included. They are poem number 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 and 10. 3 plus 3, 6 and 1, 7 poems are there in the syllabus. Now, which are the poems that are cut? Poem number 4 is cut, poem number 8 and 9 are cut, and poem number 11 are cut. So we have 4 poems less to prepare for the examination. They are, which are the poems that are excluded? poem number 4, poem number 8, 9 and poem number 11. These are excluded in the syllabus. Now we come to footprints without feet. In footprints without feet, chapters which are included 1 to 5, chapter number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are included, and rest of the chapters, that means 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they are excluded. That means that much syllabus has been cut. If we see the total, then chapter number 1 to 11 in first flight and chapter number 1 to 10 in footprints without feet, we have a total of 21 chapters, out of which 5 chapters from here and 1 chapter from here. Total of 6 chapters have been cut and 4 poems or have been cut from here, so that makes 30% syllabus. Yes, if we see, we have 11 poems over here, out of which 4 poems are cut. So here also 30%, here also 30%. On an average 30% plus grammar maybe 1. I will discuss that later. Now we come to the section wise marks weightage for English. It's not social science, it is English. Okay. Now we have, in social science we had 4 sections, section A, B, C and D. Now in English we have 5 sections, section A, B, C, D and E. Now what are the question types that we are going to get in section? We will be discussing section wise syllabus also separately. Here this is just an overall view what your paper is going to be, right? So section A, B, C, D, E, there are 5 sections. A will have comprehension, it will have fill in the blanks. The fill in the blanks that we do it, that is vocabulary, and question answers related to first flight topics, chapters, right? So section A will have comprehension, a passage will be given, and that way fill in the blanks for vocabulary and question answer, textual question answer, that means related to chapter. It won't be that is given at the end of the chapter, but we have done lots of extra questions also, right? WRTs, we have tried lots of different questions. So you have the overall view, you have read the chapter, you know what comes in it, and you got to answer accordingly. So it will come from first flight chapters, so that is textual question answers. Marks weightage for section A is 20 marks. Section B, poem comprehension. Section B, comprehension is there, which is poem comprehension. Then you will have figures of speech included in this section. Question answers of poem. So whole of the section B is comprised of poems. Yes, we have 11 poems total in our material. Out of that 4 are deducted. So we have 7 poems from where comprehension will be asked, a stanza will be asked, you will have to answer few questions, figures of speech. Yes, we have learned that, and question answers related to the poems. Total marks weightage is 12 marks for section B. Now we come to section C, where you have complete grammar. We'll discuss that, and we have already done that in the WRTs, etc. So we are aware of that, right? 18 marks grammar. Section D is writing section. From writing section starts. So 2 writing sections are there. One is D and one is E. Whereas section D is reading oblique writing, right? That means 10 marks. We'll discuss that, right? And section E, writing, which is 20 marks. So we see in 80 marks, 30 marks are allotted for writing. The rest of them are question answers, quite easy, right? So not a big difficulty. So section A, B, C, D, E, comprising of 20, 12, 18, 10 and 20 marks. That is a total of 80 marks. Different types of questions are asked: comprehension, passage, fill in the blanks for vocabulary, question answers related to first flight. Then we have poems where comprehension for stanza will be asked, figures of speech will be asked, question answers will be asked, section C, grammar will be asked, D, writing will be asked, again section E, writing will be asked, right? Now we come to section wise. In each and every section, what are the different types of questions that will be asked and how much weightage of the marks are there? For example, A section, we know 20 marks are there, right? Now question number 1, question number will be, that is MCQ based. Yes, a passage will be asked and two questions will be asked over there carrying 1 mark each, and that will be MCQ, right? So uh, for example, from chapter number 1, if the passage is given from chapter, we are just taking an example, right? So if chapter number 1, one passage is asked, right, and you are asked to MCQ, yes. So Lencher took help from dash, and four options will be given: from the postmaster, from the postman, or from a villager, or from his son, right? So in that way four options will be asked, right? We know the answer, right? He took it from the postmaster. So that way MCQ based questions will be asked from the comprehension. A short passage from any of the chapters first flight will be given, and you have to answer two MCQs. Next is comprehension, which is question answer based. 3 marks, question answer based. A passage will be given and you have to answer a question that can be 1 line, 2 line maximum, because it is a 1 mark question. So it might be a 1 liner, and perhaps if it's longer it can be a 2 liner answer. You don't have to specify more than that. Maximum 2 or 3 lines. I think we'll finish with that. Carries 3 marks. 3 questions will be asked and 3 marks are given. So I think comprehension 1 and comprehension 2, 5 marks are there, which we can easily get. Next is FB, vocabulary. We have done that in the WRTs also. Yes, some difficult words 4 will be given because it carries 5 marks. So here weightage has been increased. Instead of asking vocabulary for 2 marks, they have increased because 70% syllabus is cut, right? So they have to adjust it somewhere. So it has been adjusted in the objectives, because earlier we had 16 marks objective, now we have 24 marks objectives, right? So comes in objective, because fill in the blanks is nothing but objective. So 3 marks have been raised over here. So FB, vocabulary 5, each one will carry 1 mark or half a mark, whatever the examiner wants, right? Then we'll have to fill 5 or 10 words, right? That we know very well. It will sorry, it will be from the chapter. So a passage will be asked from the chapter where we have to fill in the blanks, yes, and we don't have to fill it on our own. Bracket will be provided, words will be provided. From there we have to select the word and write it in the fill in the blank, right? Comes textual question answers. Now this will be taken from first slide, right? So 2 marks, we have standard 2 marks question answer in English. So here also, just as we have discussed in social, general options will be given. That means 7 questions will be asked. Out of that you have to answer any 5. So 2 marks, 5 questions are compulsory out of 7. So you have 2 more options rather than giving 1 question and then another option for that 2 mark, right? Rather than doing that, yes, rather than giving an or for an option or has been removed and more number of questions are included without any so 7 questions will be given, out of which you have to answer 5. 2 into 5 questions, that is 10 marks, right? So this completes 20 marks section A. Now we come to section B. Section B, we have noted that it belongs to the poem section. So again, comprehension for poem will be asked, where one short stanza will be given, or part of the poem will be given. Maybe it carries 2 stanzas, but stanzas will be given to you, right? And based on that stanza, given question answers. Now these are not MCQ based, these are, you have to answer it. That is, it's a question answer, right? It's not MCQ based. Only 2 marks are there, right? We can easily get that. We know we have studied all the poems and we know the answers, right? Take figures of speech. Yes, it is completely MCQ based. Here we can see 2 marks are given. That means 2 MCQs will be asked from 7 chapters, right? 2 figures of speech only will be asked from 2 questions only from entire 7 poems. Yes, so we do that completely, we get 2 marks. Textual based question answer of poems only, 2 marks. 4 questions are compulsory, right? Out of 6 questions will be provided in the question and you have to answer any 4. That means 2 more are supplied, right? So 2 4s are 8 marks. We have to compulsorily attempt 4 questions, right? 12 marks. Now, section C we have noted, that is grammar. Now we have done all this type of grammar, and all of that is quite easy, and it has been made more easy so that we are comfortable. Because of the pandemic, we have not been going to school, we have been learning online, so that much consideration has to be kept. 18 marks are there for grammar, and I think it's not difficult to get 18 marks, because first question will be rectification of errors, that we continuously do in the WRTs, and we are well aware. Only thing is, we should thoroughly read the chapters, and that will be from uh, uh, the chapters that are dedicated from both the books, right? So rectification of errors, that we know error will be there, you have to write the error and you have to write the correction. 4 marks for that, so you can get marks over here. FB, that is grammar. 4 marks are given, that means it can be 4 blanks or it can be 8 blanks if they consider half mark for 1 blank. This we have already done. What will be in this type of fill in the blanks? It will be grammar based. So there can be adjectives, that can be prepositions, that will be articles, yes. So this type of conjunctions, etc. So it will be this type of grammar that we have asked. Now when we have read the chapter, it will again be a passage from one of the chapter, right? And we have already learned the chapters thoroughly, we know the chapters thoroughly. So if a preposition is missing, if an article is missing, which article has to be, no, there will be, okay. So it's going to be very easy, and 4 marks are given for that. So we are already having a lots of practice with all the WRTs that we have done throughout the year, plus we will be doing PSTs also and WSTs also. So we will be well prepared for that FB grammar, right? That is 4 marks. Now direct indirect, 1 mark has been raised over here. Earlier it was 2 marks. Only for this year 1 mark has been raised over here. 3 marks direct indirect. Now throughout the WRTs, lots of assignments, whenever the chapter is over, we have done direct indirect wherever a dialogue is there, right? Here, instead of giving 2 sentences separately, 3 sentences separately, 1 passage will be given. Yes, we know lots of dialogues are there, continuous dialogues are there. So 1 small passage will be given, and that will be hardly 3 dialogues, right? That will be high, because marks weightage is just 3 marks. So it will be a very short passage, yes, where you have to do direct and indirect. So that we have been continuously doing, and 3 marks for that. Transformation of sentences. Here there has come a very big help from the board, right? Earlier, transformations of sentences was only 5 marks. And we have been continuously doing that in all the WRTs plus assignment whenever the topic was taught. Yes, if we learned it last year, then also continuous practice has been given for the required transformation of sentences. Yes, assertive to negative, negative to assertive, affirmative to this, interrogatory, assertive to interrogatory, assertive to exclamation, question tags. These things we have been doing on a continuous basis, and in the WRTs also we have got lots of practice, plus assignments were there. Now only added advantages in the earlier paper pattern, transformation of sentences, the question was asked, you had to write on your own the answer. Now a little help has been given over here, that this transformation of sentences will be asked in the MCQ type question. That means already 4 answers will be given to you. Out of that you have to select the correct one. So that becomes a lot easier. And from this 7 marks we can gain maximum marks, that is 7 marks from this particular question of transformation of sentences. Lots of topics of transformation of sentences have also been cut, right? You'll be getting the details later on, right? So we are very well and thoroughly prepared with transformation of sentences, and being MCQ based, you already have an answer. For example, a sentence is given to you which is in assertive, and you have to make it negative, right? So 4 negative sentences or 4 options will be given. Out of that you have to select the correct one, which makes your task very easy, because you are already supplied with 4, and out of that 3 are going to be wrong, only 1 is going to be right. So it is a very big help over here. Students can easily score 7 out of 7 from there. So making a total 15 marks for section number C. Now we come to section number D, which has a weightage of only 10 marks. This is where the writing part starts, right? So D and E, they are both writing parts and they cover 30 marks from 80 marks, right? First question will be diary or dialogue. Yes, some specifications have to be made over here. Diary we have thoroughly learned the thing. Dialogue we have not done so far. You might have done in the earlier standards, but dialogue has not been included uh, in your studies. The problem with that is dialogue, only 4 dialogues are asked and it is 5 marks. So board paper 4 dialogues, a situation will be given where you have to write dialogues between 2 people and that carries 5 marks. So you understand the difficulty over here, that in that 4 or 5 dialogues what stuff you are going to give which will give you 5 marks. Rather than that, a lengthy 150 word diary is more suitable because you can pour out yourself, you can pour out your feelings, you can express yourself in a better manner in diary rather than dialogue, right? To conjure up a dialogue you need some extra skills, right? And because you have to manage 5 marks out of 4 or 5 dialogues, that's quite difficult. So we have done diary thoroughly and we have lots of practices because option will be given either diary or either dialogue. So in that way we are comfortable with diary and we'll score that. Next question will be having 3 options: advertisement or notice or poster, which carries 5 marks. Now we have done advertisements thoroughly. We have understood that with the help of the video lectures. We have had lots of practice as assignments. We have done lots of it in WRTs, so we are well aware of advertisement. Same thing goes for notice. Since last year we have been writing notice. So 2 of the major options we already are aware of. We will not go for poster. Why not poster? Because you got to draft it first. Yes, you have got to make it, and that is completely wastage of time. You have got to draw it with pencil and all that. Yes, you don't have to color it, etc., but you have got to make that poster beautiful with proper big fonts and all that. You got to adjust all that writing or whatever you have thought about that poster, right? So it's a difficult task. We are going to waste time over here for 5 marks. Other than that, we are thoroughly aware of the advertisement and notice, which we have done in a very good manner. So here also one option is being cut, which is poster. We are not going to think about that. We are not going to attempt poster because 3 options are given for 5 marks, out of which we are very well aware of the 2 options, that is advertisement and notice, right? So there is a total of 10 marks. Now we come to the last section, right? Report writing, we still have to do 6 marks. Report writing is very similar to either letter writing or either diary writing, where we pour out our emotions, right? So in both the cases, now if you look for the diary, you have some event where you are and you place your thoughts over there. Same way, report writing is nothing but it might be an event or it might have happened something in front of you, accident, you got to report it. So it is based on a similar pattern, just like a diary or a letter or email, whatever we write. Yes, so the pattern remains the same, we just have to report it, right? So it's quite easy and it's going to be included. Next is, it has 6 marks, right? Format will be given, just follow the formats, and that standard 3 paragraphs have to be written, right? So we are well aware of that. Any situation, any event is given, we just have to think about it and start writing the report, right? Next question, letter or email. Now that can be formal letter or informal letter, can be a formal email or an informal email. We have learnt all the 4 things in a quite good way, so there should be no problem to score maximum marks out of 6. We have to keep in mind that nobody is going to give you full marks at each and every point. Wherever writing is considered, we have to accept that full marks will not be given. If there are 6 marks, okay, nobody is going to give you 6 out of 6 if the writing that you have presented is of extraordinary quality, then only you can expect 5.5 out of it, right? So we have understand the limitations and restrictions that are over here. 6 marks are given, we try to score maximum. Let formal, informal, both of that thing we know the format and what has to be done in that. Email, formal email and informal email, we have learned both the things. So 6 plus 6, 6 marks is quite easy over here. Last question of the paper is essay or story. There will be a total of 52 questions. Now we know, for example, out of 7 questions textual, we have to write 5. So question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 will be given. So that way the paper question number becomes 52. That's quite lengthy paper as we think. But then if we consider that, yes, then it's quite small, right? We just have to write 5 sections and 80 marks paper is there. 3 hours is given to you, so we have sufficient time to complete that. Essay or story is the last one. Now we have written essay, we are well aware of essay. Story, it's an option, right? It's a compulsory option. So you will get an essay to write or a story to write, right? Now stories will be quite normal, right? That's a Panchatantra ki stories hoti hai. The difficulty with that is we cannot use our own vocabulary too much over there, as the story pattern को हम change नहीं कर सकते ज़्यादा. Story का जो ending होता है, moral होता है, उसको हम change नहीं कर पाते. So we got lots of restrictions over there, right? And that makes our writing more difficult because we have to follow a particular pattern and a style, and we cannot have much changes over there. If we have to complete a story, that means our imagination part. Again, then we have to think about it a lot and then complete the story so that it is in a presentable manner. Yes, it doesn't look childish, it looks quite an intelligent story. So we have lots of restrictions in story, but we are well aware and we are very well done with the essay part. So instead of 7 marks essay, 1 mark has been increased over here, 8. But that doesn't change the total number of words that are going to be used over here. Total word limitation will be 200 words. It's not going to increase from 200 to 400 or 300 and 250. Essay will be completely 200 words. So 8 marks. So marks बढ़ा दिए तो पेपर में भी marks ज़्यादा मिल जाएगा. That's simple, right? Because 8 mark का essay है. So you have to think properly and write it, and we can score maximum over here. So this is the complete layout of the paper. So section A to section D, we have thoroughly learned about the paper style. Not much changes have been done in the paper. Yes, everywhere marks have been increased because of the deduction in the percentage of the syllabus that we had. 30% syllabus has been cut, so those marks have to be adjusted somewhere. Yes, you can see report writing, it was a 4-mark question, right? Letter or email, it was a 5-mark question in the previous board exam, but there also we see lots of increase in marks. Here also 8 instead of 7, so 3-4 marks increase over here. Same way in other questions also we have seen there's lots of increase over there. So in this way the paper is absolutely not lengthy. We are going to get that same paper and we have to attempt it in the same way. We'll be doing PhDs, WRTs, which will be quite a good help for preparing for your exams. Thank you, students.